So hi friends, this is Manish Pandey. Welcome back to my series on UiPath Data Service. In our last video, you learned how to create multiple entity records in UiPath. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use query entity records activity in UiPath. So let's get started. Let's move to UiPath Data Service. Here you can see we have lots of records available here in this entity vendor master. There are many scenarios where we have to get these records so that we can use that data further in our automations. Let's say we are going to delete items, we are going to delete this record, then we need that specific ID to delete it. If you know about that get transaction item, so first we are getting the transaction item and then we are either processing that, we are deleting that, we are changing the status of that item. Same way here as well. If you want to use these records in your process, in your automations, then first you have to understand this query entity record activity. So I have shown you how to create the entity records, right? Now we have populated the data in this entity. So here I will show you the use of query entity records activity, which is used to retrieve a list of records for the selected entity from the UiPath data service according to the specified filters, which you can use later for the further automations. Additionally, we can apply filters, sorting, and define the maximum number of records we want to retrieve. So before that, you need to set up the entity in this UiPath Studio. You need to create the entity, create the fields, add the records. If you have already done these things, then that's good. If not, please watch the previous videos. So now we have this UiPath data service.activities. We have covered two things: create entity records, create multiple entity records. Third, we are going to use query entity records. Let's drag and drop here. Now we have to choose the entity that we have imported here. There is no other way to pass the entity. We cannot use config, we cannot use variable here. This we can only select from this drop down, right? You can see this query. This is optional. This is only required when you want to add filter. You want to retrieve the specific records. Then only it is needed. So first I will show you without changing anything. Just select the entity and try to run here. Okay, so let's step into here. Okay, so you know that we have 12 records in the data service in that specific vendor master entity. So you can validate output from the locals. You can see we have the multiple options we have here. Sort by field selected ID. I will show you all these properties for this activity. 12 records retrieved here. In output, you can see output as a I list of vendor master. It means that entity. If we'll click on that, we can see here 12 records and this is in the collection. You can see here all these records, email address, payment terms, phone number, everything has been fetched, right? Basically, this is like select star from table, where the table is our entity. So we are not putting any where condition. It means no query, no filter, then it will give you all these records. Now we'll go with the specific records. Okay, so let's stop this now. Now click on this, go to the properties. Okay, you can see we have options sort by field. We have a list of fields which is a part of this entity. So you can sort based on the field. You will select here. So I will say based on the vendor ID, my data should be sorted. It's like V01, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that way. Sort ascending. Do you want to sort this in ascending order? You set true, then yes. If false, it will be in the descending order like that. top hundreds, how many records do you want to fetch? Next is skip. So how many records you want to skip? So it helps you skip the number of records. Timeout, related record depth, you know that. In output we have total records, so it will give you the count of that records that is retrieved. So it's like 12 records. Output records, it will give you the list of records, the data that is fetched from the entity fields there. Okay, now we'll go with the query. I will show you how to add filter, how to add query to this entity so that we can retrieve only our desired data, desired value. So click on this, open the advanced editor, and this is filter builder. We have query entity records. Here we have all this list of fields available. I want to only get based on the vendor ID. So I want to filter here that vendor ID equals to I can put my specific vendor which I need. So V012. Okay, so I want to apply a filter on this whole entity records, that I want only the data where the vendor ID equals V012. We have options. We can click on add entry, and then you can choose here you want to apply or condition and condition. For all, you can put it like this way. Let's go with the or. Now we'll say vendor ID equals V012, or I can say email address contains X, Y, Z. Okay, put it in the double quotes. So it will give you only those records where the vendor ID equals to V012 and the or email address contains XYZ. Okay, now click save. We have added the two filters we have added to this query. Right, now I can take it here in the output records. Control K, I can store here, and I can say output records. Okay, now let's click step into. Step into. Step into. Okay, now you can see here sort by field vendor ID. We have total records 3. Output, you can click on this, and now you can see, click on this and maximize this. Now you can see here the first record that is coming from here to this, right? So this is the first record. Now this is the second record till this. After comma, we have third record. So we have 3 records here. Now you can see here first one we said like we need V012, V012. Okay, so let's check vendor ID equals to V012. So V03, why? Because we have email that is, not this one, email address which has XYZ. So the first record selected. Second records, we have vendor ID V05, but email address has XYZ Corp, right? It contains XYZ. Third, we have V012, right? And the email address is different, but our requirement was to filter one where the vendor ID equals to V012, right? So we have 3 records. So I hope you learned how to use query entity records, how to retrieve the records from the entity. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more UiPath tutorials. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.